listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia Griffin. To master a higher frequency for new state of mind. Once you walked in a forest of splendor in which everything you did and everything you thought was aligned. It is possible at this time to begin to return to the old knowledge. Intuitive healer and manifester Julia Griffin is here to talk about this unique time in history when all sentient beings, animals, plants, trees, and the earth are intent on creating this change. The wolves awakened her to the most incredible light, which opened gifts and brought knowledge that she longs to share. You are creators, and you are born to be creators of beauty, possibility, and joy. Join Julia on a journey into a beautiful and magical world where amazing possibilities exist. Let us help open the door. The Power of Inspiration and Awakening with Julia Griffin starts right now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julia Griffin, and you're listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio. We're on Transformation Talk Radio, and we have a really special guest today, Nancy Yearout, who will tell us about the angelic realm, her show, High Road to Humanity, and how she has messages for us about the angels that will help us with our own transformation and awakening. But first, let me tell you about Nancy. She's the host of the High Road to Humanity, a popular podcast where she uses her voice to uplift humanity by interviewing experts in many fields. Her guests all have a story to tell, providing us with new information to assist humanity as we evolve into a loving and more compassionate people. Her guests include authorities in health, wellness, spirituality, astrology, psychics, energy healers, mediums, religion, past life regression, ET communications, Nostradamus, Aztec healers, and seekers of the truth. Her video presence is found on her YouTube channel, and that is Nancy Yearout's High Road to Humanity. We're going to find out more about that in just a minute. She's a psychic. She's an empath with the gifts of claircognizance, clairvoyance, and clairsentience. Her goal is to assist humanity with their own intuitive gifts to stay on the high road. She connects with the angelic realm to bring messages through one-on-one readings and through classes and speaking engagements. Her connections with the angelic realm is strong, and she brings forth her angelic vibration in this today, in this body, and in this time. She channels Archangel Gabriel as he brings forth messages for humanity. She's an energy healer and has been professionally trained and is currently attending One Light Healing Touch Ministry School. She's the author of Wake Up. Want to hold up your book, Nancy?
Oh, yeah.
The Universe is Speaking to You, and is currently attending One Light Healing Touch Mystery School. She has her book, which you just saw. She's also a monthly writer for the Eden magazine for the past 6 years. Her current focus is using her voice to connect humanity with a divine source energy. Nancy's also a real estate broker, and she has her own estate firm in New Mexico. So we have a person here with a lot of broad range of practical life and cosmic energy. So, hey, Nancy, I'm so glad to have you.
Oh, Julie, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
It's a really nice vibration for those of you who are listening. It feels great, by the way. So what is the high road to humanity? Is it a way of moving into higher vibrations and awakening? Is it choices, like learning, is this the best thing for me to do? Is this fair?
Right.
Do I want to rewrite this? Or is it all those things?
Well, High Road to Humanity is really I bring the information to the people. I interview all different types of people, but all along the healing and spiritual, theme. But all of them have a message, and all of them have a story. And as I've interviewed all of these people, I think the audience has grown, I've grown, and yeah, we're raising the vibration as we learn. Correct. Yes.
And that's what I think is sort of the high road. It's this different vibration from what we tend to accept as life It's a completely different vibration that leads you to unusual people like yourself and makes you feel differently about life. It makes you perceive things that you would never have felt otherwise. Do you feel like that's accurate?
Yeah, I am. I've always felt different, yes. And I've always felt that I came here with a purpose. And I will say over the last, I'd say 5 to 7 years, it's really become stronger on what I'm supposed to do as far as using my voice to help humanity. Yes.
So I
Mhm.
wanted to ask you, when did you create the channel and what was your initial thought? I know most of the things we're called to do spiritually, they change as you go along, but what happened initially?
Right. Well, what happened initially is I wrote the book, Wake Up, the Universe is Speaking to You, because I figured out how to use energy. I was a real estate broker, a single mom, and I needed to sell real estate. And so I had a mentor in Michigan, and she taught me, she would say, Nancy, draw it in. And I'd say, what do you mean, draw it in? And she'd say, draw the business to yourself, see it coming to yourself. She taught me how to draw business to myself because I needed to make money to take care of my children, basically.
Everybody's going to want to know about that. Can you give us a couple clues?
Yeah, I mean, I would drive to work in my car and say, I sell houses like crazy. I sell houses like crazy. I'd say money flows immediately and constantly to me, and I accept the abundance.
Mhm.
So I started saying affirmations because affirmations are strong, and it worked. And I sold houses like crazy. And I was the rookie of the year for the Albuquerque Board of Realtors the first year I was here, which was, gosh, I'm going to age myself now, but
No,
that
don't do
was,
that.
do you want to know?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so I became very successful in real estate, but I used the energy work to do it. I
Mhm.
learned how to use the energy to enhance my life and to survive,
Right.
basically. Yeah.
And I think this is a fairly common thing among people who have a calling to express themselves or what they know about energy, is that
Mhm.
you're put in a situation where there's nothing else you can do but to
Right.
rely on that spiritual energy and reprogram yourself.
Right. And then I realized it worked.
Yeah.
And so then when I got married and I had some time, I always thought I'd do this when I was like really old. But then I wrote the book because I wanted people to understand how it works and how many things work. I talk about essential oils in here. I talk about faith. I address a lot of different subjects. This is really for the beginning, Ascension 101 is what it is. It's wake up. It's the very beginning to learn. And I reference the Bible quite a bit in my book.
Yeah, I think there's a linear thing with all the philosophies and religions as you go more and more deeply into spirituality.
Right.
Oh, I don't know why I'm asking you this, but we'll go ahead. I have a feeling that you know which people and which houses go together at this point in your life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I saw it evolved. What happened to me was I started to sell land. No
Mhm.
one had sold land before or really did a lot of land. And I started to sell ranches and large parcels of land. And what I realized is when I walked out onto the land, actually, a client said to me, Nancy, when you come out on the land, it changes the energy in its cells.
Mhm.
And that was a different concept. I hadn't thought about that before, but it was my energetic vibration of going out there, standing on it, putting the sign up, and putting that good vibe out there that was making the sales. So that was another evolvement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you were waking it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
yeah.
And I'm going to say, if people who are listening and thinking, wow, this is going to be advanced, and they're talking about essential oils can really raise your vibration, like the essential oil of rose, the really expensive ones. Just a drop will make your vibration go up. A lot of my clients use it who are afraid of flying because the higher vibration overcomes the fear vibration. So it is very important, even if it sounds simple.
I use it.
Me too, all the time. They're everywhere,
Mhm.
all over my house. Here's one
Mhm.
right here.
Yeah. See, it's crazy, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah, aromatherapy, and it's very healing. So yeah, you just start to learn about all these things. And I wanted other people to know. You asked me about the podcast. I wrote the book. I felt like I wasn't being heard. I really felt a strong feeling in my gut, in my solar plexus, that I needed to teach people that there was a higher power. You can call it God, divine, whatever you would like, but there is a higher vibration. It's a love vibration. And I learned to connect, and I wanted to teach people how to connect. That this stuff wasn't ooey gooey or weird, that it was for real.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So that's why.
It's the coolest thing in the whole universe. It's like you've turned a whole different channel on your television and it's projecting all over your room with really good vibrations.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's where the podcast came from. I started it in, I think it was the fall of 2018.
Mhm.
And I did that. And then I decided people are visual. So yeah, so I did my YouTube channel, Nancy Yearout, High Road to Humanity. And now I have quite a few subscribers on that. So, and I love it
Mhm.
more than anything. I love it. I love the interviews. I love the audience learning as I learn. And it's just been a wonderful ride, actually. Yeah.
That's great. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
So I was just going to ask, what were some of your favorite broadcasts?
Oh gosh, there's so many. Well, I love, so Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
he's one of my favorites. I really like him because he, gives so much different information. That I've had Celestine Starr. She is connected with the ETs, and she was very, very, very interesting. So that was neat. Maureen St. Germain has been amazing on my show and taught about, oh gosh, so many different things. She talks about the Akashic records and, the Merkaba. So gosh, and I've had a healer from Mexico who was amazing, who taught the audience so many cool little things that we can do to help ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been many, to be honest with you.
That's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that part is really good. So I'm coming to one of the most interesting things about you is that you feel that in this lifetime you have incarnated as an angel in a human body. Now, not a lot of people say that. So tell us about it.
Well, yeah. Well, growing up, Julia, when I was a little kid, all I wanted to be was an angel. I didn't want to be a fireman or a nurse, or I wanted to be an angel. And that was my deal. And then I kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you, and went on with life. And just went through a lot of different scenarios. I learned, traveled. And then I think, like I said, maybe, probably 10 years ago, I've always been psychic. But then I started to connect more and more. And the more I connected, the more I think I started to realize that I was here for a purpose and I was here to help humanity. When you are, and then I met another incarnated angel, and we recognized each other, and we had the same things, and it was nice to talk to somebody else, because we are here to help humanity. We are in human bodies, but I am like extremely nice. Sometimes naive when I shouldn't be, because I'm highly intelligent, but there are a lot of things. I'm very sensitive to sound. I'm very sensitive to foods. As I've become more and more connected with the divine, I'm really, really sensitive to any kind of medications, or I've started to become allergic to different things. But yes, and then I've had other people recognize that I am angelic, and I've had people say, I can see your wings. So, it's evolved. It's come over time. For a while, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to put myself out there, to be honest with you. But the angelic realm has pushed me to put myself out there.
So let me ask you, now most of the things that you talked about, really good psychics and empaths have the same thing. I mean, like sometimes I say I'm allergic to the world, and I don't mean the world itself, but I mean most of the artificial things that are out there I can't eat, and I can't live that way. And I think most intuitives have heightened senses.
Oh, yes, awareness. Absolutely. Yes.
How does the angelic presence differ from that?
Well, I have a team of angels that I work with, and they are with me always. As of late, I've been channeling Archangel Gabriel, and I bring him in. If I have a reading, if I'm going to do a reading for you, for example, I'll bring in Gabriel and he gives me the information. You realize I don't have this information. This is coming from the divine. This is coming from Gabriel, right? My purpose, I've realized my purpose here on the planet is to be the voice. My voice is healing to people. I can heal in a lot of different ways. I guess it would be a little bit different. I have a heightened sense of smell, for example. I can smell disease. There's a lot of different things that I have, and I won't reveal all of them, but I do have some different things that may seem unusual. But I am here. I serve God, and I'm here to help humanity.
Right. I was just curious about the differences. It sounds like the bigger differences you're really not allowed to give in detail.
Well, I mean, I don't, no, that's not true. Let me think. What can I tell you that's different? I channel Archangel Gabriel. They direct me pretty much on what I'm supposed to do. They guide me. They're always here next to me. We all have when we come down here, we all have a plan on what we're supposed to do. And I am here to use my voice. I have information. I guess I will tell you one thing. I have information that I can download, and I'm beginning to do it. And it comes from ancient times. And I am here to bring forth information that will help humanity.
So you would agree with what the wolves have been telling me, that these things that we had in the past, these ancient abilities are coming back into being, the way that things used to work.
That's correct.
Yeah. It's interesting that we're all seem to be getting the same message, like in the same few months.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's my main, is to bring people like Julia, like you, to talk, to humanity, to talk about the animals. It's so wonderful that you can communicate with the animals. Everybody has something that they bring. My job is to bring everyone together. Does that make sense?
I think we all are, according to our gift and according to the group that we're given, but I also think there's some point in time when all those people come together as one.
Right.
Maybe they're going through a lot of different teachers at one time. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of different groups of people with different teachers, but at some point we're all going to come together, and that's when we're going to see the wonderful change we all are hoping for.
Yeah, and we're here to be the examples, to raise the vibration. Every time I connect, every time you connect, we're raising the vibration. We go out into the world, and our vibration is affecting all the people around us. So the higher I can raise my vibration, then I'm helping humanity, if that makes sense.
Sure, it makes sense. And I know that Gabriel gives messages. He's the Archangel of the West, rules water. So I'm assuming that that's part of your voice and healing, since Gabriel is something that we hear.
Yeah. Would you like me to read the latest message from Gabriel?
Sure, I'd love it.
For the audience? Okay. This one came through March 11th. The reason I want to read this is very important what he has to say here. And here's what he says. Nancy, you are working to help humanity, but remember, only the few who love the Lord will see the light and follow you. Do not be distressed over the ones who won't come to the light, as they have a choice. Be the example, show them the light and how joy and love come from connecting with the Almighty I Am. Many humans are confused about what they are witnessing, but let there be no confusion. We must all band together and demand peace. The fighting is over chemical warfare, and the battle is one to be fought by the experts in that area. These tubes or vials that contain deadly material are at risk by exposing millions of people to death. Please pray for peace, and each person can help by sending prayers to the people who have these biological weapons for warfare in their hands. That is all for now. Now, this is talking about what's happening in Ukraine.
Right.
So he's telling us what's happening.
So I'm assuming we would send light to all those things and imagine that they fall back into their native nothingness.
Something like that. He wants us to concentrate on the people who have the biological weapons in their hands. And that to me would be the best thing to do. Send it light blue light,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
That's
light blue light gets rid of anxiety, fear.
I'm an expert on that one.
Yeah. That works. The other thing is, there is a metaphysical theory that anything that's out of alignment with the highest good and the highest light is an illusion. So we can make it fade into its native nothingness by holding such a harmonious vibration that it no longer exists.
Right. I just, sending love and light, sending good energy, whatever feels good to each person. If we all just would, step up and do that would be the best. If you don't usually say hello to your neighbor, say hi to your neighbor. Smile at the person at the counter when you go, because we got the masks off. So let's do that. And just start to be a little kinder. If each of us made an effort to watch what we say and to pay attention to our thoughts, and it's something I work on too every day. But I'm just saying those are those little things, Julia, will really help raise the vibration on the planet.
And I can give you a good example. I have a very good doctor and she's helped me a great deal. And I saw in her newsletter that today was her birthday. And I thought, well, I'm driving right by. So I stopped and got her a card. At that moment, they had all these balloons and llamas. And she was so happy to have a patient come up and give her a card and a little gift. And it's like all day long, her surprise and happiness has stayed with me. And it was such a little thing to do.
Mm-hmm. But it made a difference.
For me too.
Yeah. Isn't that something? Yeah. So it's just the little things that you do every day, So that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And I didn't think it would make any difference. I thought, well, I'm sure she's probably having lunch somewhere and I'll just drop the card off at the front desk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're that light, and that's what we have to do. We have to, all of us really have to realize what's important. And it's not the stuff, it's really connecting. We're energetic beings. We're here for a short period of time. We're here to learn. We're here to help, do what we can. And it matters what we do here. I just want to say that it really matters what we do down here.
And the little things matter so much more than what people think. Right. Besides, it's like if you look at anything you've ever manifested, there's this tendency to think that the last thing you did is the one that changed the weight of the scales, but it's not. It's 1,000 little tiny things that you did that make the scales change.
Yeah, that's true. And when you do nice things for other people, that comes back to you tenfold.
Yeah, if you can do it from your heart. If you think just doing good things is going to get you there, that won't work.
Yeah, and don't tell anybody.
Well, I usually don't.
Well, you know what I mean, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
It
has to be your secret.
Yeah, exactly. I really enjoy doing the show because I'm teaching people. I have come out and told people who I am because I feel like if I don't, I'm not being honest and I'm not being truthful. And I'm really into the truth and I'm really into honesty. So okay, well, I think
I'm going to tell you something that will crack you up. It was true that I was writing for a lot of magazines when I quit my job, but I come from an old Southern family, and somehow or other a class that I was teaching went out in Southern living, which is like the entire South that everybody reads. And so then my parents called me and asked me what I was really doing because they had just read about me in Southern living.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So at some point it comes out, even if you don't want to tell people.
Yeah, I mean, it finally got to a point where, and like I said, they were pushing me because I think the angelic realm wants people to understand that certain entities have incarnated. I'm not the only one, okay? There's many of us who've come here at this time to help humanity, and it's a real thing. It truly is.
It's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
For all of us who are talking, and Jessica, who's my producer, who's on now, it's not just something that bleeped in and happened. I think we were all called here for this time.
Yes, absolutely. And as time goes on, I can see it more and more, the synchronicities, can't you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And I'm going to tell you something. I feel so blessed. honestly, to be here at this time, to be able to help. I mean, that's my reward, is to help, truly.
Well, yeah, because you had that wonderful experience. Well, all of a sudden things started to sell because you were holding positive energy and positive thoughts. And it's like, I think for most of us, when that happens, it's like something clicks in us and it goes, I always knew this kind of thing worked. I always knew it. I could just never get it right before.
Right. We have to believe it. You know, I do affirmations today, Julia, every morning. I do affirmations. My affirmations change, but
Of
I'm
course.
really big on affirmations because it's your words. It's the vibration of your words going out into the universe, and the universe complies. That's how
Yeah.
it works. So if you can, I mean, say it, and even if you don't believe it in the beginning, when you're
don't.
saying, yeah, but I mean, when you're saying your affirmations, you know, eventually, and I have affirmations in my book that I tell people to say.
Well,
So,
tell us one of your favorite ones.
I'm healthy, wealthy, and wise. I have sparkling blue eyes.
Oh, that's funny.
I've got a bunch in my book because I want people to understand. I should look them up for you. They're powerful because our words are powerful. Here, let me see here. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Everything's going my way. I have time to play.
Oh, I love that one. I'm
See,
always
when they
saying that about
rhyme,
time to play.
yeah, you remember them when they rhyme. All my needs are met. I am thankful for what I get.
Yeah.
My life is filled with joy, love, happiness now and forever. Here's one I've used to say all the time. I should say it again. Healthy business flows to me constantly, and I am grateful.
Yeah, that was
And
good too.
do you want to hear a couple more?
Yeah, please.
All right. I am healthy, strong, young, joyful, and prosperous now and always. My children are healthy, happy, and prosperous. This is one of my favorites. God is supplying all my needs.
I say that too. It's not up to me, it's up to God, and God is
Yeah.
putting in whatever I need. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's two more. I fulfill my destiny, and I have more than enough.
Yeah. Those are fun.
Yeah.
We may not have time to finish this because we're going to go to break in a second, but how old were you, or how long ago was it when you discovered you were an angel and you stopped wondering?
When did I really stop wondering? Probably a couple years ago. Yeah. It's only been in the last couple of years that I've accepted it.
Right.
To be honest with you. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
at least no one put it in a magazine.
No, no. Yeah, I was told I needed to come out of the closet. It's like coming out of the closet, right?
Yes, it's a little scary right at first.
Yeah, and I had another incarnate angel do it with me. We did a show. Michael, he's an optometrist. He's the angel whisperer, Michael, and he came on the show, and we did it together because he hadn't come out either.
Mm-hmm.
And we were both professional people, and so we decided to do it, and we did it in December of this last year.
That's exciting. At least you did it. That's really great.
Yeah, we both said, okay, you know, it's time. Let's just do it. Whether our families think we're crazy or not, we'll just go for it.
That's the point you have to get to.
Yeah, and that's what we were both like, this is because I felt like I wasn't being honest with my audience, and I'm really into being straight up, you know?
Yeah, well, after a while, you can't hide from it.
Well, people could see my guest would say, I see your wings, or I see angels behind you.
Yeah.
Or that, you know, you're angelic. They could pick up my vibration through the Zoom. So like Maureen St. Germain knew I was an angel right away.
Right. It's at some point it becomes impossible to hide.
Right. So that's kind of what happened. My guests who are psychics also started to call me out.
That's a great story.
Yeah, it's true.
We've been talking with Nancy Yearout about the high road to humanity and her incarnation as an angel. When we come back, we'll continue this great conversation, and Nancy will tell us about some of the messages that she's received from Archangel Gabriel and how she helps others. You can find Nancy at nancyyearout.com. The more you know about the spiritual world, the more you grow. So let's go to break now. Hello, everyone. I'm Julia Griffin at onetrueself.com, onetrueself.com. And I'm here with Nancy Yearout. You can find her at nancyyearout.com. We're talking about the high road to humanity, her angelic presence. She is an incarnated angel. And we're also going to talk about bringing up light and how being awakened changes your life and why that's so important right now. So, Nancy, you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I will. Before I do, if you guys need to get in contact with me, if you want an angel reading, just go to my website, nancyyearout.com, and you can book, because I know you guys are probably wondering. And you can listen to my podcast, High Road to Humanity, or you catch me on YouTube at Nancy Yearout, at Nancy Yearout's High Road to Humanity. So if you want to find me there. And I've got a class coming up too. I'm going to do like an Angel 101 class, teach you guys some stuff that I know that will help you. As far as connecting, the biggest thing that I really try to get across to my audience, and that I would like for your audience to know, is, because it's changed my life, is to connect with the divine. Again, a lot of people say source, energy, whatever it is, there is a higher power, there is a creator. And what I do, and I'll just kind of go through it real quick, if that's okay. I bring in the light every day. I visualize white light coming down through my crown chakra, down through, through my face, through my throat chakra, down through the chest, all the way down, out the arms, down through your body, and down out your feet. Now, what a lot of people don't know, and Julia, you can talk about it too, is that there is light. First of all, we need to ground, and everybody knows how to ground, but I'll mention that you can visualize cords coming out the bottom of your feet and out your root chakra as well, going down into the earth, and just anchoring and grounding you and being present. When people say being present, being grounded, that's what they mean. You're here, because a lot of times things happen in our lives and we just like get out of our bodies. So that's why we ground. And then we bring up the light, just like we bring down the light. Now, what are we doing? We're bringing in love, the love vibration. Okay, we're bringing up the vibration from Mother Earth. This is not only healing, it's balancing, and it's brings you joy.
Plus,
So
it's how we create, because we need that physical energy. What we're seeing and feeling and affirming in the spiritual world, we have to feel our presence with nature. And the earth and nature actually help us to put that into form. So without that connection, you're not going to create anything nearly as good as you would if the earth is supporting you in that creation.
Yeah, I'm going to say something that's really going to hit home with people. What really messed up humanity is the invention of the tennis shoe. Rubber soles. Just rubber soled shoes. Because here's the situation that I've learned after I've gotten older and done some research and stood outside. When you take your shoes off and you walk outside and you stand in the earth, you can feel the vibration coming up through your feet, and that heals you. The indigenous people used to take their babies when they were sick and dig a hole and put the baby in the hole. It's not crazy. What they're doing is they're using that energy that's coming from the earth. It's a natural healing source. We've given up that natural healing source. That just blows my mind sometimes, that we don't have that. You know what I mean, Julia?
Oh, I do now, because I go barefooted as soon as it's warm. I walk everywhere barefooted. But another thing you can do is to get an old sheet now that it's becoming spring, and just lie on that and lie on the ground for 30 minutes and imagine that light and those energies from the earth are coming into your body. They're very rejuvenating. Plus, as I said, they help you create.
Absolutely. And it's like recharging. Look at us. Exactly. We are energy. We are totally made up of energy. And that is it's exactly what you said. That's what rejuvenates us, is bringing up the energy and bringing down the light and connecting. And that way it's a whole thing, because once you connect, then you start to get messages.
Exactly. And I was going to ask you that for another question. So you just answered that.
Yeah.
It has to be that connection where you're getting the intuitive answers.
Right.
So when people will say, and when they're very upset and they say intuitively, I know, and I hear it, or you hear it, and we know it's off, they don't realize that they're not connected. But if you practice a lot, you can tell the difference. It's like I'll get an idea and I'll think, well, no, I'm all upset. I'm not connected. I'll come back later and look at this.
When you're connected, exactly. You know, and I always tell people it's like an AM FM radio. And this is how you connect to your loved ones too. Let me just throw this out there, because as you connect more and more, then you raise your vibration. Now, your loved ones are over here because they're in the heavenly realm and we're down here on the earthly realm. So as we bring our vibration up, they can only bring theirs down so low. But when you can bring it up, we can start connecting and getting messages. It's just like a radio tuning into AM, FM. Look at it like that. And that's how you do it.
Yeah, and I had what I thought was an important thought, because for about 15 minutes I was uncomfortable because I had like negative memories from, I guess, late adolescence about my family and not fitting in and feeling differently. And I thought I had resolved all this. Why is this happening? And I could hear that side of my family say, we're reminding you because you're learning how to run the energy differently now. It doesn't upset you. You're looking at the energy and not what happened.
Right. You look at things. Thank you. Because when you do start to connect and you raise your vibration, you start to look at things from a different perspective. I don't let the little things set me off anymore. I look at things from a broader perspective, because it changes how you view things, just like you said.
Yeah, it's just the energy. What energy was going on then that I didn't understand, that they didn't understand? But from a higher viewpoint, it makes sense to both of us. And that's where I'm trying to get my consciousness. And I
Absolutely.
thought, well, wow, what a cool thing to have happen.
Yeah. No, that is really cool. And the more you connect, I don't know, the more calm you are, things don't set you off, the more balanced you are, the kinder you are, and people will notice. And I will say this, when you change and when you connect to the divine, a lot of people will fall away from your circle of friends. You may have new friends because when your vibration changes, those people usually fall away and you make new friends, if that makes sense.
Everything changes. I remember once saying, it's like a bulldozer drives through your house, but you're still in the same house. It's just everything is in a different place now.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
your
And it's a good
preferences
thing.
change. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing, because it has to rearrange. I'll give a different example because everyone's aware of this. We go through highly energized periods of time where we can do like 3 days of work in a day. And then these times where we're hardly doing anything and you can barely get off the sofa. Those are changes in the intervals of the energy, but they're also teaching us to be flexible and to adapt.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you are correct. I believe there are different energies here right now, and that there are so many different entities here right now trying to help raise the vibration. So, yeah, like I have to say, like every day is different. Like today I got up and I even said to myself, I'm really different today. So
Yeah.
something shifted and I feel it energetically and I can't put my finger on it. Do you know of what shifted? I don't
I
know.
don't know what shifted, but I know it's just like I have a different energy that was added that I didn't have
Today.
before. Yeah. And I don't know what it is. I don't know how to read it, but it's like every now and then I'll look at something and I'll think, wow, that looks so different from how it usually does.
Right. Now, we can talk a little bit about dimensions, going between the dimensions, because I've
Yeah.
caught myself doing that. I didn't know, it freaked me out. I was upstairs in my bathroom, and this was a few months back, probably last year. And I was up there and I looked in the mirror, and then it was like I was over here looking at myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know, that really freaked me out. So I asked Maureen, I said, because she does that thing. I'm like, hey, she goes, you're jumping dimensions, Nancy. You know, as you raise your vibrations, you're going from like third to fourth to fifth to sixth. So you can jump dimensions. And talk about that, Julia, because that was a new one for me, man.
Okay, well, there are lots of different ways of seeing it. One is like sometimes you can see all your different timelines. Like every now and then I'll be with a friend and I'll go like, wow, and we were best friends in 1320. I'm like, that's interesting. Or I can see this life, or this woman that I've never seen before was my mother in this life. And so that's more like timelines.
Mm-hmm.
Then another one is like, you can go into plant world, you can go into animal world, you can go between the spaces of where you are, and it can look very different. And then you'll just come back to being the everyday you.
Well,
it's quick.
yeah. No, I think it's jumping. Okay, what I'm talking about, and I know what you're saying, I get you.
Mhm.
But this is like, as you raise your vibration, I think like you could, like she explained to me, and I've heard this happen, like you can have an object that you had go missing when you were in 3D, but as you raise your vibration, now you're in 5D, you can't find it because it's
Right.
in
Or it comes
3D.
back when you're in 5D. That happens to me all the time with jewelry, scarves, purses,
Yes,
clothes. I'm like, I've been looking for that shirt for 8 years and it's just sitting there on the hanger. My favorite shirt is back.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yes,
different things are happening in all those different dimensions.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Well, and I don't know. So that's something kind of crazy that's happened. I will tell you that I have enjoyed bringing in the messages from the angelic realm. I do have a guardian angel that's right here that helps me too. When I bring in the messages, of course, they come from her and the divine. And it's been interesting and it's been nice to be able to help people. I will say that.
Mhm. So what do you feel like is your message to the world at large, that we're moving into this time of awakening and possibly greater love and harmony, if
Yes.
people want to go with that wavelength?
Yes. This is a time where we will start to show compassion for each other and kindness will come back and respect and integrity, and love. And we will have a place. If you can visualize heaven on earth, that would be wonderful
Mhm.
because as people start to visualize, I do believe this will be a peaceful planet. I really do. I believe that we all have the capability. There are so many people who want peace and harmony and don't want, people are starting to wake up and they see what's happening and they realize that's not what we want as a race. Let me tell you something that really hit home with me. I interviewed somebody on my show a couple weeks ago who was in contact with the ETs. And she said to me, the one thing that the extraterrestrials can't understand is why we don't take care of our own. They don't let their people starve.
Mhm.
They don't let their people go without. And it's really interesting that we as a human race do not care enough about each other. And I believe that will change.
Because there's certainly an abundance for everyone. And I think
Right.
one thing, everyone always says, what can I do? Well, whatever you're thinking or seeing about the world that's negative, you probably have a unique vision of how it should look, one that maybe no one else even has. And so it's all of our visions together. It's
Right.
not one person. It's like this tapestry behind me. It's lots and lots of different kinds of weaving. Your higher vibration is different from mine. They feel the same when we're up high, but they're not the same. It's a unified energy. And we need everyone's energy, everybody who's awake, whatever you can see, whatever you can do. It makes a really big difference. And I don't think people realize it.
Right. And so that's the message. It really is to connect with God, to connect with the earth, to be the example, to to be loving, kind, to change. Before you start to say something, stop yourself and think, is that a kind word that I'm going to say? Pay attention to your thoughts. All these things have energy, all of it. We are creators. We have to realize that we are creating our reality right now.
Because what is it? Every person has about 10,000 thoughts
Sure.
a day, and 70% of those are repetitive. And what I noticed the other day was that if it was a negative thought, I kept repeating it. And I thought, well, are you going to say anything to this person? I thought, no, because that wouldn't be the right thing to say. So I'm like, so, and why are you still thinking this? Because you're transmitting that energy. And I thought, oh, that's true. I am being repetitive. I'll stop. I'll just focus on my heart and pink light.
It's difficult. You have to
It's
be
hard.
you have to be aware. First of all, you have to be aware that you're having the thought, and that's the first part. Oh, why did I have that thought? And you have to see it and go, why am I having that? And then you have to change it, like you said, into
Yeah.
something different. And it's reprogramming.
Mm-hmm.
In
It's
my mind, I'm reprogramming. Like I'll say something that would be something that would come out of my mother's mouth that I would never say. And I'm like, why would I ever say that? That's not me speaking. That's a program.
Yeah,
And so then you start to be aware, you've made a little progress when you're aware of it, first of
right.
all. Yeah. And then you're like, how do I change that? And it's just like you said, you have to just change that thought. Like for a while, I put stickies on my mirror, I think happy thoughts,
Mhm.
whatever works, It takes time.
Well, what I noticed, and it was really pretty cool, is now it took a lot of effort, but I could stop the thought about the fifth or the sixth time. And when I stopped it, I wasn't thinking anything. I was just feeling everything around me. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool because that's how we feel when we're children. You're aware of the air in the room, you're aware of the dishes you're putting up, everything you're super aware of. And I thought, I wonder if negative thought is part of the way we detach from being alive.
Well, that's interesting. Well, there is one other thing I want to mention that's really important that people understand they need to go within and know thyself. It says in the Bible, be true to thyself. And that's one thing that I've learned that is so important is to take care of yourself. Take time for yourself. Because if you're not good, nobody else is good. It got kind of backwards where, if we do a million things, we win. No, it's not like that. Take care of you and make sure you're good. And then you can, give some energy to other things. I think people have gotten away from self-care. And I really that's really important.
Mhm. I think so too. I think there are two things. One was women's web, and I'm not putting it down, but I'm just saying if you're working and you have children, there's not a lot of time left.
Right.
The other one, and I think that that's changing to some degree, but the other thing I think is that before we were in the age of Pisces, and in the Piscean age, every time you gave, you got a huge amount of energy back. So you didn't get depleted. But now we're in the age of Aquarius, and it needs to be balanced giving. You have to give that person the right amount of energy, not too much, not too little. And then if you don't receive anything back, you have to give it to yourself or you'll get depleted. And I think that's because everything is changing so fast.
I agree with that. And if you are having a relationship with somebody and it doesn't bring you joy and they're just, sucking all your energy, you need to look at that relationship because again, it's exactly what you said. We have to achieve balance at this point. And
Mhm.
so, and when you let someone take all of your energy, I will say this, you become ill.
That's true.
So there's a reason. And I will, this is all connected. Bringing in the energy is healing, not letting people steal your energy. Now, I will tell you, since I have angelic energy, I'll tell you a couple of things. I have to really watch it. I'll share with your audience. When people meet me and they're next to me, they want to hang out with me all the time because they like my energy. They don't understand why.
I don't know if they like you or not. They just want your energy. Is
They
what.
love my energy. And so I have that happen quite a bit.
Mhm.
And that has been a difficult because I've had to say, no, you can't come over my house. I'll do a reading on Zoom because people just want
I understand.
and that's happened a lot. And that's been a big surprise. I've also had one person who was well versed enough that I really liked that was taking my energy because I didn't realize it. And so that was a learning experience for me as an angelic being. They realized who I was and they were stealing some of my energy to help them.
Mhm.
And that was an odd thing to have happened to me as well. So I've had some weird things.
I think that's pretty common actually. When
Do
your
you
energy
really?
gets up to a certain point that other people want your energy and
Yeah.
are just like, well, I'm tired. I'll go see her.
Yeah, that's been a rude awakening. I didn't realize all of that. That's over time, you start to realize these things. So,
I don't think it's always about stealing energy. It sounds like the one person was conscious, but I think people are attracted to light and they
mhm.
can feel your light and they know that they need it. And so they get confused about it. They think you are the light temporarily.
That's true. Now, I will say, and I will tell the audience, I do have people who have passed who are in between.
Mhm.
That started probably about I would say five years ago, maybe. And I started in the shower. And it started with an ex-boyfriend who had died that I didn't know had died, and came and said, and I helped him to the light. So
Right.
I'm one of those, they see my light, they do come, and I do guide people to the light. So I will say that.
Mm-hmm. So we're coming to a close. Do you have a parting thought that you want to share with everyone? I would say it's go ahead and wake up because it's worth the effort.
It's worth the effort, yes, because once everybody wakes up, it's going to be amazing. And don't you want to be part of it? So what I really want to say to people is to connect with the divine, connect with God. There is a higher source, there is a higher power, and there are angels, and there's lots of us here on earth.
That's so much fun. Thank you for saying that. So tell our people again where they can find you and about your upcoming class.
Okay, so I've got a class coming up. It's going to be like an Angel 101 class. So I'm going to teach you some stuff that I know that will help you in your life. My book is Wake Up, the Universe is Speaking to You. My podcast is High Road to Humanity. And my YouTube channel is Nancy Yearout's High Road to Humanity. And if you want an angel reading, just go to my website, nancyyearout.com.
Thank you. It's been a joy having you, Nancy. I've enjoyed it so much. So everyone, you can find me, Julia Griffin, at onetrueself.com, onetrueself.com. I do readings. I do a newsletter. A little later on, I'll be doing some free classes. So come and find me, onetrueself.com, onetrueself.com. Sign up for my newsletter. And I want to thank you for tuning in and being with me and Nancy today and raising your awareness and moving more into awakening. So please join me on the second and fourth Wednesdays of each month at noon ET, 11 Central, and 9 a.m. Pacific. Have a great week, and I'll see you here next time. Namaste.
Thank you for listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia Griffin to master a higher frequency for a new state of mind. Join us next time as Julia takes us deeper into the memory of the moments of light where transcendence and enlightenment emerge. The memory of the jewel of consciousness is always lived within you to tap into waves of energy and create huge changes by imagining the beauty of the vision and desires that are hidden in the heart. Learn to find your way back to nature, beauty, and your own heart, which holds the secrets of your existence and future. To discover more about Julia's adventures, animal communication, and the teachings she brings to every show, visit onetrueself.com. That's onetrueself.com. That's ONE, trueself.com.